What's up, y'all?
Don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years. 6 years to be exact. And there's only been one time in that 6 years the Carolina Panthers ever had a winning record at any point of the season. And this season is the only time in that 6 years that the Carolina Panthers have had a winning record through 12 weeks. That's crazy.
If there was a time to come back, tonight is as good as any.
And you know what? Like, we talked about, when it looked like earlier in the season the Panthers might be good, we talked about coming back, but it would have felt cheap, right? Considering that we had not really talked about the Panthers a lot, after, in the off season. And that was because we were going through life changes. There was actually some real life shit. That is an understatement, sir. That is, So there was a lot going on that kind of prevented us from doing UC, and then things started to stabilize. But it was like, man, we've been gone for so long. Now the Panthers come back. That would just seem kind of cheesy, right? Like we're just out for the clicks. So, and plus the Hornets suck too. So so we were like, we'll do it when it feels right. And we went to the game.
Man, listen,
me and Maul, and it feels right.
It was magic yesterday, bro. It was not to get all sentimental and sappy and shit, bro, but Sunday was a feeling.
I've been to 2 Panthers playoff games.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, yesterday was up there, maybe even more than those 2 particular games that I went to, because the context of that game. The Panthers were not supposed to win yesterday.
Right.
They weren't. Right. Nobody, even diehard Carolina fans, we were like, we got a chance. But, I mean, it's the Rams. The Rams are unstoppable, right? Best team in football. I mean, I just couldn't see a path forward for the Panthers. And once again, they proved that we don't know shit about sports. We don't know anything.
Look, man, I'm going to set this up this way. J.C. Horn's out. Trayvon Moore was out. Christian Roseboom was out. And you got Matthew Stafford, who hadn't thrown an interception in about a month of Sundays, right? The perfect storm in the formula was for us to really just get blown out and to have Matthew Stafford throw for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns, right?
Right. Yeah.
It was all set up to be that way. But to put sports talk aside real quick, Cosmo, I want to talk about the mystique that is Bank of America Stadium and how it felt like we were back in 2015, dude.
Yeah,
it's that feeling of being in that rain and it's all wet and it's nasty. Guys, let me ask you this question. I was having so much fun. Y'all can hear my voice is kind of whack right now because I was having so much fun. I didn't feel the weather. Like, seriously, dude. Like, I'm
paying for it today. I had to take a sick off work because we were screaming for 4 hours in the cold and rain. But I didn't. There was one point. I mean, it was just it was downpouring and fans were kind of like standing in the concourse. I was like, fuck it. This is what I was wearing too. I was wearing this jacket, and we didn't have ponchos or nothing. But I was like, this is football, and we talked about right before the game started. This is where Canales. I'm gonna talk about Canales more in a bit, but everything was set up for the Rams to lose, and we just didn't realize it. They had to on Thanksgiving week, right, where teams typically take Thanksgiving and the next day off. They get one practice in. They got to fly all the way from LA, all the way to Charlotte. By the way, it's 35, 40 degrees and raining.
And you're outside, and you're used to playing that big, beautiful dome.
And that big, beautiful dome. And the Panthers are pretty good at running the ball, right? So it felt like that was the story of the game. And I hate to, I've seen a lot of sports media today say that as an excuse. But that's football, right? You can only play who's in front of you. Right. And the Panthers, shorthanded, just did a great job across the board. There were some things we'll talk about that, but best win of the season Best win in a long time for Carolina. Maybe one of the best wins of the season for any team. This was very unexpected. Like, no one knows what to think about the NFL, now after that.
And look, man, this is not me. I am not trying to put a damper on this situation at all. But I do want to see how the Panthers can handle success going forward. You understand what I'm saying? We got a bye week coming. We got this bye week coming next week. Could not have come at a better time.
Oh man,
you get what I'm saying? Look at the 49ers games and look at how our players are dropping like flies. You understand what I mean? So we get this bye week, man. We get everybody healthy. We got a revenge game against the Saints. I know that sounds kind of crazy considering how bad the Saints are, but that's the revenge game. I don't care how you look at it. Must-win situation, man. We got to get the Saints. We got Tampa Bay coming in next week.
What's crazy is this. The next 4 games are all winnable. I know the Seahawks are good, but does it matter now? We beat the Rams. We beat Green Bay in Green Bay. We beat the Cowboys, who look like they might jump to the top of the NFC East. By the way, JG, we gotta talk about that. Y'all could have helped us out. But anyway, I digress. I kind of feel like the stars are aligning.
Same, I agree, man.
It looks like our only way in is to win the division, but even that's not true. I mean, San Francisco's 9-4. We're only a game behind a lot of those teams. Dallas, unfortunately for us, Dallas has a tie, but we beat them in a head-to-head, so that'll count. But I mean, if we do what we're supposed to do and beat the Saints, and then we get one against Tampa, that might be all we need. Think about that. That's a 9-win season. That's a winning season.
But not to be repetitive, but that's going back to what I'm saying. How does this team handle success? The path is there. You understand what I'm saying? The path is right there. It's plain as day. Take care of business, man. Going back to the Saints game, I forget the rookie, man, but a rookie called out the vets. It was we got the big head. We got the big head. We were slack in practice, and this is what happened. I just want to avoid that the rest of the season. There's no room for that kind of stuff going forward the rest of the season. So let's see how they handle success, man.
I think the Saints game was a wake-up call. It was a smack in the face. And not the 49ers game. People are getting too down on the Panthers for the 49ers game, because, first of all, the 49ers are better than the Panthers. Let's call it what it is. But the Panthers did not play as poorly as you would think. It was only 20-9. They picked Brock Purdy off. By the way, Cam Newton was always right about Brock Purdy. Let's just get that out of the way. They picked Brock Purdy off 3 times. They just couldn't. The offensive play calling, which we'll talk about in a bit, wasn't there, and they couldn't take advantage of those 3 turnovers. If Bryce Young walks that touchdown in,
it's a different ball game.
Panthers probably win, right? I don't want to get on. And also, everyone's in the news media. They're always sports media. They're like, well, lost to the Saints. Bryce Young did not play that game. That's if we forget he was injured, right? He set that game out. Andy Dalton came and stunk it up. So now we got Bryce Young back. Hopefully, we'll have J.C. Horn back. We're gonna have a few players back, but I think that's really all you need to beat the Saints this time. The Panthers aren't going to look. I'm not saying they were looking past the Saints, but yeah, I think they were. We should win.
I'm going to say they were looking past the Saints, and I'm only basing that off of what players have said during the interviews. Like Derek Brown pretty much blasted the team's practice habits that week, man. So just based on what they said, in a certain way, they were looking past the Saints in context. So it's kind of like this weird thing where I'm sort of glad that happened, because now you know what kind of focus you need going forward. You know how to prepare for these teams. And correct me if I'm wrong. We got the Seahawks are on the road. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not looking at the schedule.
I think that's what we're good.
Yeah, if that's the case, you're going to need A+ focus to go in Seattle and win. Let's keep it buck, okay? That is not that's not an easy place to play, man.
That's been a house of horrors for Carolina for literally 20 years.
Right, except for Cam Newton throwing a Greg Olsen in that one game, but
yeah. So I don't even have that marked as a win if I'm being keeping it a buck. But I think you beat the Saints and you get one off Tampa. That's probably all you need.
In a great position. That puts you in a great position.
Let's say that's not enough. That's still a 9-win season. That's 9-8. There's nobody. There might be a few of you out there in UC land, because I know our fans are very smart, but nobody would have predicted a winning season this year. Not going 9-8, missing the playoffs. You got to be happy about that, and especially how the team has looked when they're good. When they're bad, they don't look that great. But that's because they still have some pieces missing. The linebacker situation is kind of iffy. They need a consistent pass rush. Man, they have a pass rush. Whew, look out. So, I'm not going to get down on them for the times that they have looked bad, especially against good teams like the Bills. I mean, it's Buffalo. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the league. San Francisco, one of the best teams in the league. I'm not going to get down on it. In fact, I think the only really bad loss that they've had this season was the Saints. Yeah. They're a one-win team. You should have won that. So,
and I'll throw this wrinkle in it too, man. I just kind of off camera with conversation with me and you, man. I've been highly critical of Dave Canales at times, and one thing that I will give some objectivity to is he's kind of in the same position Ron Rivera was, if you kind of look at it. Yep. Okay, yep. He's a young guy learning on the fly, and I will give him credit for one thing. Dave Canales will admit, when he's done a bad job of coaching. There was what was the game we won, and in the locker room he said, "Hey guys, I tried to blow it for you a couple of times. I apologize." You know what? If we're being real, I don't mind that.
At least he admits it, right?
No, nobody's perfect. Coaching is a hard job in the NFL. It is not an easy thing to do. He's a young guy trying to figure it out with other young guys, and I can take that.
And I thought about, we were during the game, me and Jamal, mainly because we were drenched in cold. We were talking a lot of shit about Dave Canales, but after coming home, watching highlights, watching some of the the film breakdowns from YouTubers, I'm a little harsh on Dave Canales because I feel like you said, he's learned. First of all, he didn't have the luxury of coming into a situation like, say, Ron Rivera. As good as a coach Ron Rivera was, first of all, his first season, he's got Cam Newton, the best player in college football, a generational quarterback talent. You're going to do well in the NFL. And then the very next season, he gets one of the best defensive players of his generation, and Luke Kuechly, and the rest is history, right? Dave Canales didn't have that. He inherited a mess, kind of, which, although I'm all in on Bryce now, we agreed, and everyone agreed, that he was not number one pick material, right?
Right.
We gutted the team to get him, and then when Frank Reich didn't work out, okay, all right, Dave Canales, come in and make this work. Yeah. And it took a season, but he's making it work, and I think he's finally realizing that the identity of Carolina football is always going to be run the damn ball, play defense. That's it. Yep. And it was, we want a new identity. We want to air the ball out. That's not working. But you know what's working?
It's not us.
That's not Carolina football, right?
That's not us, bro.
You got to do is winning games, and what's winning the Panthers games is running the ball, playing solid defense, opportunistic defense. And I'm
sorry, man. Go ahead. I was going to say, shout out to Dan Morgan for kind of I think we're in the early stages of Dan Morgan kind of shaping that identity back. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'll say, look, it's still pretty early in the process, man. I don't want to jump too far ahead. You know what I mean? We're excited off of winning. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I think we're very early in the process of Dan Morgan shaping what that old school Panther style of football was.
Absolutely.
And I think Bryce Young is the perfect. And I think Bryce Young is the perfect quarterback for that. You understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't need to see Bryce Young sling the ball around 45 times a game. You know what I mean? Now I also don't want to see him pass the ball 8 times a game either. There's some balance there, but you get what I'm saying. But Bryce Young we saw Sunday, that's the formula to win right there.
It'll get better as our personnel gets better, and as the coaching staff, learns the personnel, opens the playbook a little more. I think we're going to see some better balance there. Also, I think the Chuba Hubbard situation was difficult for Canales to deal with, and he kind of fumbled a little bit on that. He's righted that ship, but that was a little blip in the season. Yeah, Rico Dowdle playing lights out. Chuba Hubbard comes back from injury, and then you start giving him the ball instead of the guy who's hot. And now you look kind of like, now what do I do? What they did yesterday with the two-back system was awesome, especially late in the game where it was clear they were just going to try and run the clock out and wear the Rams down in the rain. And and so I'm back on the Canales bandwagon. I do feel like the play calling. I'm not saying that I actually love the decision making.
Right.
I'm kind of a fan of playing for 4 downs. Right. The analytics say you should. The analytics say you should never punt. That's what the analytics say. Right. In short yardage, 4 down situations, you should never punt. And I'm not saying that the Panthers should never punt. Obviously, there's some context, but to get 2 4th down touchdowns, right, is insane. And for him to have that kind of, to have that kind of balls to be like, hey, dude, we're gonna go for it, we're gonna win, and to do it, I'm a fan of that. What I'm not a fan of, if I see one more empty set,
I'm gonna scream, bro.
The Carolina Panthers have one of the best run blocking offensive lines in the league. They're not great pass blocking. Not great enough to be running empty sets in the rain.
I will say this. I will say that I'll give them a little credit, not credit, but I'll give a little objectivity here. Like, I don't even know who number 74 was. I don't even know his name. Okay, so they got what, 2 or 3 guys out on the offensive line. And that matters. You know what I mean? And they were not the greatest pass blocking offensive line to begin with, but it doesn't make it any better when you literally got 2 or 3 guys who I've never heard of on the offensive line. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. But go ahead. I didn't end the point.
I just feel like some of the situational play calling is kind of iffy. And I'll say that as much as excited as we were to see the Panthers get 2 4th down touchdowns, I don't want that to be the case.
It shouldn't. There were multiple instances shouldn't have came to a 4th down. Yeah, thank you. Jake Curran. Never heard of him. Yeah, but because you kind of stole my point, man. Because the play calling with Canales for me is a mixed bag. Like the 4th down call to ice the game where we throw it. I'm like, yo, that is awesome, but you shouldn't have got there in the first place.
No,
there's no reason to go empty set on 2nd and 6.
You could have run that play on 2nd down.
You could.
In fact, that's the play you should run on 2nd and short. You should try and take a shot over the top. I don't remember. It could have been a case where the coverage wasn't there. But I will say on those 4th down plays, I don't think the intent of those plays was to go downfield.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah,
that was Bryce.
That was Bryce doing that.
If you look at the pass he threw to McMillan to essentially win the game, that might be one of the best throws of the season from any QB. And I know people are gonna be like, "No, you're being a homer." I don't know, man.
No, he threw a dot, man.
He threw it open. He threw Tet open. Tet was not open. He threw it open. He put it only where Tet could reach out and get it. I mean, that's a dot in the rain. In the cold, y'all. I mean, you guys probably do understand. On 4th down, boy, that's woo.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want about Bryce Young, whether he's the guy or not, but he got that clutch gene. We've seen it all season. I just wish he didn't have to show it all the time.
Yeah, and not even the clutch gene, man. But we talked about this before we came on today, man. His poise, his poise is invaluable. I mean, even going back to his first season where everything was absolutely terrible. I mean, it was like, dysfunctional football. You understand what I mean? Even going through that, man, he has maintained his poise since he's been there. And you've got to give credit to a young dude who can just keep an even keel and keep his poise throughout any storm. No pun intended. But he's kept his poise throughout all the ups and downs with the Panthers so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't. It's hard for me to start faulting Bryce again. This is a seminal season for him. This might be the breakout year, and there are a lot of quarterbacks where their 4th year is the year they take the jump. You got, for instance, you guys. A lot of people don't remember Drew Brees' career. He wasn't Drew Brees until his 4th season, right? So Oh,
That's funny.
Yeah, JG sent me a link showing our son Bryce McGowan's balling. Couldn't do that for us.
Right.
But yeah, I like what I saw from Bryce on the offense, and now I understand the McMillan pick in the draft. I remember we were kind of like, oh, we really need somebody on the defensive side of the ball, but I see the vision now.
Yeah. Well, you know the irony behind that is though, the Falcons traded all their picks to get James Pearson and the other guy I can't think of. So now they don't have any first round picks, and you just got beat by the Jets. So
yeah, and Michael Penix is injured. And remember he was injured a lot before he came to the pros. Wouldn't that be so? Unfortunately, I don't wish that for him. I hope that's not the case. But what if he ends up being injury prone?
Right.
And you still got to pay Kirk Cousins money.
Yeah.
Oh well. Speaking of defensive side of the ball, sometimes bend don't break works, and it's a beautiful thing when it does. I don't like it, but I understand that. I understand the philosophy. I understand it.
Right.
To not have J.C. Horn, first of all, who played an incredible game against San Francisco and is having an all-pro season, to have him gone against the best passing offense in the league.
That'll change your game plan real quick.
Man, and it was clear the Rams felt like they were going to exploit that.
Right.
But sometimes me and Jamal are right. And we tend to be right sometimes. We sang the praises of Mike Jackson a lot last season. We did. Yeah. We were like, there's something about this Mike Jackson kid. And boy, did he step up yesterday.
He stepped up, man. And look, I like yesterday, we had these conversations about the defense, and not to mention again, J.C. Horn being out, Trayvon Moore being out, Christian Rosewood being out, had a lot of important guys out yesterday. So number one, Nick Scott played a hell of a game yesterday, man. Shout out to Nick Scott. That's by far the best he played as a Carolina.
He was a former Rams player, right?
Yeah. So I'm sure that was his get back game, and what a time to do that. But I say this, and I am not going to be overly critical of Evero yesterday because he had a very hard job yesterday.
Absolutely.
I'll say that about him. So his game plan, and I was a little mad that we didn't blitz a little more. But I guess I have to understand that's Matthew Stafford. He's seen every blitz there is known to man. You understand what I mean? And I can understand Evero's hesitance to go man-on-man coverage without your best guy.
I just feel like, given the situation, you're at home, it's cold, it's raining, you know that throwing the ball is very risky in these conditions. And I know it's Matthew Stafford, right? But a lot can happen when you throw the ball in the rain. You can't let him sit back there. Because here's the thing. The Rams offense still scored 28 points. And if not for the Michael Jackson.
They still drove when they want to. Yeah.
If not for the Michael Jackson pick six, we might lose that game, right? Because that was our offense only scored 24 points, right? So the Rams.
You stole my next point. Yep. You stole my next point because, like, that game goes to show you turnovers can make all the difference. It's just that this game, we took advantage of the turnovers instead of scoring 3 points off of 3 turnovers with the turnovers with the 49ers game. Sunday we took advantage of that. So turnovers made all the difference, man. And then Derek Brown is worth every penny you pay that man, okay? Next contract he wants, write a blank check. Tell him, hey, man, whatever you want, give it to him. Man is invaluable.
That's DT in football right now. Besides, I mean,
who else?
When you talk about
Quinn Williams, and who else?
Yeah, I mean, talk about first of all, you could literally make the argument that he won the game. We won the game because of Derek Brown.
Right, absolutely.
The first interception of the game was because of a tip from Derek Brown, and then he had the sack fumble that ended up essentially sealing the game.
Look, man, not to sound like a hot takey Madden person here, but you pay those guys the big bucks to make big plays. It's that simple. and he made the big plays when they mattered. It's that simple.
Absolutely. So I cannot fault the defense. I'm not going to fault them for even giving up 28 points. They made the big plays, which is what you got to do against a team like the Rams.
What you got to do, man.
I will say,
especially when you can't really stop them.
I will say, fourth quarter, I looked at Jamal. What I say? I said, Matt, maybe it was the medication that I was on. I'll just say that. But something spoke to me.
You said Matthew Stafford was going to give us one more. You said.
I said he about to give us one right now, and I mean, y'all saw what happened. And what was crazy is there weren't a lot of people at the game.
It felt like it.
It felt like 72,000 people were there. In fact, there were just as many Rams fans there as Panthers fans, and boy, they was salty. They didn't stick around.
They didn't stick around.
They were giving us shit all game.
Not in our section. They definitely didn't stick around in our section.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they bounced real quick.
Yeah, we made it count. Con Knipple already hitting threes. Let's go.
All right. I don't want to talk about them. We're going to cut this short so you guys can get to the Hornets. But I don't want to talk about them anyway. They don't deserve it yet. They don't deserve. Last season I said I'm just going to hate on the Hornets until they give me a reason not to, and I'm going to continue riding that train through this season. We're going to about 4 more minutes. I'll post it 30 minutes. Let's do like we normally do. MVPs. Who's your offensive MVP? And this is a tough one.
Man, this is a tough one, man. It could go a lot of ways, but I think I'm gonna play this safe. No, I'm not gonna play it safe. I'm going Chuba Hubbard. I think Chuba Hubbard was offensive MVP. I'll give you 2 reasons why, man. That drive where they couldn't stop him, when he rushed all the way down the field. Now, we did not score, but the fact of the matter that he took so much time off the clock, he wore down the defense, that was important. And I also liked the touchdown when he came out the backfield and caught the ball. Wow, Chuba Hubbard caught the ball out the backfield and scored a touchdown. Chuba was my offensive MVP.
I'm going to go Jalen Coker.
All right.
He made 2 of the biggest catches of his career. First one on 4th and 3, touchdown, Burns and Emmanuel Forbes. I mean, just a hell of a catch. Right. And then he makes the catch that gets the first down that kind of seals the game. And that was a tough catch for him to make, diving in the rain. Ends up winning the game. Plus to come back from injury and have that kind of impactful performance. I'm going to give it to Jalen Coker. I know Bryce Young is kind of like the easy pick, but I feel like this was actually one of those games where Bryce did the best thing. He just got the ball into the hands of his playmakers, right? And those were his guys, and
they made plays.
Coker, Tet, Hubbard. I mean, they made plays for him.
Danny, don't even try it. Your team lost to the New York Jets. Get out of here.
Aren't they they are mathematically eliminated? Weren't they mathematically eliminated when we beat them?
They were mathematically eliminated when the season started, so it don't matter. I'm surprised I didn't get that notification about Raheem Morris this morning, man. Good Lord.
Man, at least Atlanta got something to be happy about.
Right. Defensive MVP. You want to say it at the same time? Because it's obvious.
1, 2, 3. Derrick Brown.
Yep. Yeah. Nah, he ain't even close.
Not even close. Yep. Not even close. He like literally won the game for us on defense. But you could also make Mike Jack because he had the big play. Here's the thing: the play calling really didn't give them the opportunity to really play up on the receiver. I mean, Devontae Adams was just running freely. Free. I'm wide running wild.
Right. Right.
So, but yeah, Derrick Brown clearly the offensive MVP. So, got a bye next week. Perfect timing on the bye. We're gonna get maybe everyone back. Hopefully, we'll get everyone back, and then we play the Saints in New Orleans.
Better get that one. Cannot lose that one. Cannot.
When they played the Saints the first time this season, I had a hard time picking the Panthers to win because I knew how inconsistent they were and Bryce Young wasn't going to play. I feel like that's going to be different this time. Bryce Young's going to play. The Saints are better. Some teams get worse as the season goes along, right? The Panthers have gotten better since they played the Saints 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I don't think the Saints have gotten any better. They have one more win, but I kind of feel like they're like worse now, right? Because as the season goes on, it's grueling. Those guys, they don't want to play. Saints don't want to play. They might get up a little because it's the Panthers and they can play spoiler, but I think the Panthers are going to handle their business in the nice cushy dome in New Orleans and win. I'm gonna say 24-17.
You know what? My score, I might just pick the same score because I'm actually going to pick us in a close game. I don't think we're going to blow them out or anything like that. And I actually think they will get up because it's us. Like, that's the only reason. Like, yeah, they don't have anything to play for, but it's the Carolina Panthers, so they'll get up for that. But I kind of agree that the score will be close. If I don't go 24-17, I'll say 24-21. I think it'll even be that much more closer. So we went in the close one, but we take care of business.
Yeah, I think they're going to win and set themselves up nice to go into Seattle and have a tough game there. All right, that's our 30 minutes. We're gonna let y'all go watch the Hornets game. The only thing I will say I do want to say one thing about the Hornets. Maybe we'll bloviate on this a bit. Swagner, shout out to the front office for this draft class. Now there were a lot of things that people told me and Jamal about the Hornets that was going to happen. They said that J. Cole was going to bring some free agents, right? J. Cole was the key. They said when Michael Jordan was gone, sky's the limit. The roof is the ceiling.
Sky's the limit. Yep.
Roof is the
Kevin
ceiling.
Durant, come on down.
Nobody wanted to play for Michael Jordan. They was going to play for, but they want to play for these guys. They told me LaMelo Ball wasn't injury prone. They told me that.
Yep.
They said that even though he played a less percentage of games than Gordon Hayward, they said he wasn't injury prone. So, however, nobody said that the Hornets were going to possibly have the best draft class in the league this season. That's a shocker. Yeah. I don't know if that's ever happened in the 30-plus years of Charlotte Hornet history.
Oh, I can tell you, no, it has not. No.
Yeah, I'm really surprised at the con pick. We felt like was the fit pick. It was kind of safe. Like, okay, he'll fit in. But boy, has he fit in, right? Goes to show what we know about drafting. So, and we were half joking at the game, like, maybe trade LaMelo and build around this cat, right? We got Zion James. We got, Kalk in the middle. I like what the front office did with the draft class. And if no one wants to stick around and actually play some games, then so be it. So shout out to them.
Shout out to the front office for building depth in the backcourt because they knew that everybody in the backcourt was eventually going to be hurt. So shout out to them for having some foresight and saying, hey, man, let's try to prevent this problem we had last year. I'll say this about the Hornets because I'm going to get off and watch this game, man. I'll say this. Guys, the drum I've been banging for the last 3 years is a C word, continuity. That's all I want to see out the Hornets, man. Knock on wood, I'm going to try to be optimistic, man. Hopefully LaMelo and Brandon will get over these injuries, whatever they are, and they can start playing games together and build another C word, chemistry. Now, again, man, we've won our little 2 games in a row. I'm like you. I ain't getting excited yet. They got to show me a little more than this 2-game winning streak. But I do hope it is the start of some kind of continuity with this group and playing together to finally see what we can get, what we can possibly be with LaMelo and Brandon Miller. And I'll say this one last thing, I'm going to take it off, man. It's a very easy time to pile on LaMelo Ball. And I'm not saying it's not justified. Let me be very clear about that. LaMelo Ball's in a really bad shooting slump. Brandon Miller's in a bad shooting slump. They're battling injuries from what we know. I'm just trying to be optimistic and hope they can get past that, and maybe the Hornets can take off from there. I'm going to put that in the air.
Yeah. They got to play smart basketball. If your shot's not falling, LeBron Ball is not a shooter. He's not. He shot fairly well one season, almost 40%.
He's capable. Right.
He's capable, but the thing is, the league evolves. They're not going to let LaMelo Ball, if he starts shooting 39% again, they're not just going to let him sit out there, right? Especially coming off injuries. LaMelo Ball is actually almost unguardable when he's going to the hoop. Let's do that. Why don't we do that?
And I wish he would realize that. I 100% agree with that. Yeah.
So, but that chemistry. right?
That's it.
So we'll see. But we're gonna let y'all go. Watch the Hornets. Shout to our fans.
y'all. That's it. That was my
shout out. That's it. Yep. Coming back with us. We get messages and emails all the time, man.
I gotta say this real quick. When me and Kaiser were at the game Sunday, I stepped out to go to the bathroom, and God, man, I wish I remember the gentleman's name. I'm so sorry, bro, if you're watching, man. But somebody came up to me and was like, "Hey, man, you under construction? What's up? We all coming back?" And I was like, "I don't know, bro." So shout out to the fans, man.
Yesterday, it was a special day yesterday, right?
It was a special day, man. It was Kismet yesterday, bro. Yeah, man.
Panthers, don't let us down. Don't let us regret this.
And one other thing, we got to throw shameless plug. Kaiser, I can't believe you ain't said nothing yet. Me and Kaiser, we have picked up a new craft.
Yeah. We're
I'm sure you got your stuff right there, bro.
Actually, yeah, this is I am recording at my DJ setup right now.
Right.
I'm gonna get a set in. Me and Jamal always been music heads, and we've always been around DJs. Always been a rapper, MC, so I never really DJ'd all that much, but I've always been big in the EDM space, especially the drum and bass scene in Charlotte secretly for like the last 20 years. So I'm like, I need to get back to that because I don't rap no more. I retired. So and Jamal knows everyone in Charlotte, so he can just get gigs anytime he wants. Like,
I don't want to hear that, man. I will tell my DJ story at another time in another space, man. But last thing, man. Again, man, it's glad to see the comments, man, and to be back.
Feels really good. Feels really, 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 really good. Great week for Charlotte sports fans, and let's keep up the energy. Love y'all. Y'all take care. We'll see y'all next week.